Yeah, as I was saying, sorry, this is part two of another episode of With Enough Prep Time, and it's titled Please DC Get Off Batman and Superman's Dick. And it was just me saying, I love both of these characters, but there are other characters worthy of exploration in DC. They've got a wonderful, wonderful list of characters who are being absolutely ignored. I was actually going into Shazam and Batwoman next. Now, Shazam is, for me, I think just, you know, whoever is making the business decision not to expose Shazam more is completely nuts. And Jeff Johns has done a great job of updating this character, and hopefully he will get some more exposure in the future. The fact is, when do you start reading comics? When do you watch cartoons, really? When do they mean a lot to you? Isn't merchandise something that is important to you? Who in their right mind doesn't think that a 9-year-old kid is going to relate to a kid, an orphan kid, who, his parents, I can't remember exactly what happens to his parents, but like he's basically left or whatever, and he's put through these foster programs and ends up orphaned to this family, and then one day a wizard comes along and tells him he is the rightful champion of the gods, and therefore gives him these godlike powers. And with a simple word, Shazam, he can change from an 8-year-old kid into a superpowered badass. I mean, that is something that's a $1 billion concept. That's like literally $1 billion concept right there. And it makes no sense that DC isn't doing anything with that. I would be obviously a lot more familiar with the character because I love the idea and I love his whole mythology, but unfortunately I don't have any comics to read because DC doesn't put any out. There's Batwoman as well, who's, I would have preferred if they hadn't have called her Batwoman. I can understand why they did, because obviously to connect her with the Bat family is it's going to increase the sales and increase the exposure of the character. But ultimately, she's just a very, very cool character in and of herself. One of the first lesbian superheroes, and she has a very distinct part of the Batman world that she faces off, which is she faces off against the more supernatural threats to Gotham. So that's her little niche, her little kind of market that she kind of finds herself facing off against. And yeah, I mean, like, God knows DC needs more diversity. A character like her, if you read her story, it's really dark, really, really interesting, really cool story. That kind of thing should find its way onto, the DC animated movie shelf. It really should. Even if you have to do a Batman, Batwoman kind of connected movie, because actually her movie is awesome. Or sorry, her story is really awesome. And I think it would translate very, very well. I just think DC have to be a lot more daring. I mean, if you compare it to Marvel, and I'm sorry, I'm more of a DC fan in terms of the characters. I mean, there's a couple of Marvel characters that I really love, but I mean, by and large, I think DC has superior, more mature characters that you can do more mature things with, more mature themes can be explored than with Iron Man, or than with Spider-Man or whatever. I think the Hulk was great, or is great. He's my favorite superhero. But by and large, Marvel characters, it's great, but it's more like for children. It's more like kiddie comics, whereas the DC's range of characters have much more darker kind of themes underlying them that can be really like fleshed out and explored in interesting ways. So for me, you know, like, yeah, as I said, I've given a number of different characters, and why I don't, the Flash, Earth One, what a great comic that could be, especially with the realism aspect they're going with, exploring some of the physics or whatever of what the Flash can actually do. Shazam, the you know, like again, why not Shazam Year One or Shazam Earth One? You know, again, like this little kid who can become this all-powerful, mighty being is something that is going to appeal to kids and adults alike if explored right, especially with the whole orphan thing about him. And Jeff Johns has done a good job of updating the character, but maintaining the integrity of the original story. But now we've got what? How many Superman graphic novels? How many Batman graphic novels? How many Batman movies? There's like 8 movies now. You know, just, I mean, I can understand, like, before maybe you didn't have the CGI or the technology to really do a lot of your other characters justice, but enough's enough. Now we have it. Now we have all the tech to make a great Wonder Woman movie, to make a great, you know, Shazam movie. Let's have a bit of variety. Variety is the spice of life. It will make us appreciate Batman more. It will make us appreciate Superman more if we get these other characters that they can contrast with. So that, you know, just, I think it would heat up debate. You know, people would be like, there'll be the hardcore Wonder Woman fans and the hardcore Superman fans, and who would win, and the hardcore Batman fans, and who would win, Batman or Superman. You know, like, that's what you need. You can't rely, the company isn't going to last, I think, you know, very long just relying everything on Batman, because once, you know, people get bored of them and they're like, okay, well, where are the rest of the graphic novels? And especially at this time when 2 of the biggest selling movies of all time are comic movies, the general audience are not going to be like hardcore comic fans, hardcore comic geeks, Batman fanboys who are just going to watch Batman films over and over again. You know, they're going to want variety, they're going to want difference. That's how movies work, for instance. I'm just talking about films, but like this should apply to the comics as well. So anyway, that was my video. I hope you enjoy. Please leave comments and like and subscribe if you agree. Or don't.